One of the things that I love doing on this channel is finding new creators and showcasing them. So this week I stumbled upon a new couple who have very, very recently moved to Australia from the UK. They're a small channel, they've only got under 500 subscribers and they've got 11 videos. Not all of those videos are actually made in Australia. So there's a handful of videos that they've made since arriving here in Australia. And I've watched all of their videos thus far since they arrived in Australia, and I really enjoy their content. So I wanted to do a reaction video to their most recent video because it's just a really laid back video, but they're really experiencing life in Australia and more specifically life in Melbourne. So I wanted to have a look at this video and share it with you, and maybe hopefully some of you will like them and head their way and give them a few subscribers. Now, in terms of this video, I'm only going to use excerpts from their most recent video. So if you like what you see, hop over to their channel and watch their video in full, and then you can give them a bit of love, hit the like button, leave them a comment, subscribe if you like them. And I will leave the link for this video in the description below. So let's jump in and have a look at some of the experiences that these guys have had since arriving in Melbourne.
We're moving for a coffee in what we're trying to make, I think, our little local coffee shop. We're hoping that someone might start recognising us if we go there enough.
So clearly they haven't figured out yet that here in Australia, not only will they recognise you if you go there enough, but chances are they will start making your drink the moment you walk in the door. They will remember your order, and it will become one of your favourite spots to go to.
Yeah, so this vlog's going to be just the next couple of days leading up to the race. Just general, I think, not really, well, there's nothing specific in the diary yet, but things change. So yeah, just thought I'd do a little intro.
So the race that they're referring to is not just a little race, it's a marathon, which seems like a pretty good way to launch yourself into a new country. You know, getting there and then within a few weeks of arriving, running a marathon.
It's somewhat sunny. I think it was meant to be warmer than it is, but it's sunny.
It's got 2 beach towels.
Oh yeah.
We don't have any, and we're going to go and sit on the beach today.
The sun is out. Yeah, we're going to do that. Don't know what's to come really. We're just vibing and enjoying, but I'm sure we'll be able to update you if anything else comes about. At this point I just feel like I'm a Australian car spotter, because all I do is take pictures of nice cars.
Okay, as a bit of a car enthusiast myself, while I might not necessarily go as far as taking a photo unless I wanted to actually do a illustration of it down the track, I would certainly be drooling over that car myself.
I think here you can have any reg. Sorry, I'm taking a picture of that. You can have any reg on a car. So like in the UK, it's like short regs are like really hard to come by and expensive. But I think here you can just apply for a reg obviously if no one else has got it, but I don't think there's the same difficulty here as there is in the UK. I've seen some mad ones. Seen a Lamborghini the other day with guilty as the number plate, and a Ferrari with OG as the number plate. There's some good ones out here. There's also some mega nice cars.
So I had to look up what he meant by short reg, and basically it is the same thing. It's personalised number plates, but it sounds like the actual size of the number plate can be different in the UK, whereas here in Australia, whatever you put on your plate, it's still going to be the same size. And I think the limitation is 7 letters or numbers at the most, or at least in Victoria it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a long time since I've looked that up. So it's interesting. I have to say, Victoria does have so many vehicles on the road with personalised plates. They are a dime a dozen, and they're pretty easy to get, and they're not overly expensive from memory. I've not bothered because my car's pretty visible as it is, so I don't want to make it even more recognisable by adding in a custom plate as well.
Me and Trudy were here just checking in. Just doing some sunbathing. Not by the local, it's just a local for us.
So they've definitely caught some really nice Melbourne weather, that's for sure. But I have to say, it stresses me out seeing them there with no sun hats, no sunscreen. I don't think they've realised yet that this is the skin cancer capital of the world. And I know it's only spring, but give it a few more months when the UV rating really notches up, and they're suddenly going to discover why they need sunscreen and hats and stuff. So, yeah, I'm sure they're probably getting a lot of comments from subscribers on precisely that thing, though.
I've got to try and get close to this bird because it's got a mohawk. Look at them. Punk rockers.
So, for those of you who don't live in an area that has these punk pigeons, this is what they look like. They're actually called crested pigeons. I'm not sure that they're in Tasmania because I had never seen one until I moved to Victoria, and I just find them so fascinating because of that punk look. They do look like they have a mohawk, but they're actually really, really pretty birds.
Hello everybody, it's a little later. I had a nap on the grass. I can literally fall asleep anywhere. We're actually going to go and get another coffee now. Just walking into like the main bit of St Kilda. There's Ed. Oh, quick. Gorgeous, gorgeous day. Gorgeous vibes. Loving life. Oh, little butterfly.
It's nice that these guys are actually based in St Kilda because they're showing a different side to Melbourne. So much of what you see on videos of Melbourne is the CBD and just, the crowds, the high-rise buildings, just the real city, the crowds, all that sort of thing. And it's easy to forget that there is a bit more to Melbourne than just that. So, nice to see this. Also nice to see a nice sunny Melbourne day as opposed to some of the crappy weather that you do get in Melbourne.
Anyway, we have come to 95, what is it, 95 espresso and coffee bar in the beautiful high streets. Just taking it all in. I've spotted an acai and frozen yogurt bar over there called Yo Bar, so I'm thinking tomorrow I might treat myself to one.
I am just going to say how much I hate the amount of graffiti that you see down in Melbourne. And if you're heading in on the train, so if you're heading south to Melbourne on the train, the amount of graffiti on the backs of buildings and stuff is insane. I think it would be something that, I guess there's a presumption that it's only Victorians who travel on the trains, so who cares if it looks really, really ugly with graffiti everywhere. But, we've got this amazing silo trail in Australia, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, do a Google search for silo art, and it's just, there's some absolutely gorgeous artwork. So why not paint over the graffiti and get some decent graffiti artists in, or some decent artists in, and instead of having all this ugliness, turn Melbourne into the city of good graffiti or good murals or something. because it really, for me, as an outsider, the first thing I notice every time I go to Melbourne is the amount of graffiti and how ugly it makes the place look.
I don't know if you're actually going to see what I'm pointing the camera at, but there is what I would say is a parrot, but I would say maybe not, because they're just out here. Hold on, let me get closer.
Okay, I'm going to take a guess based on the shape and the sounds that what he was looking at was the eastern rosella. This has got to be one of my favourite Australian birds. You seem to have them all up and down the east coast, or I know we had them in Tassie, and I have one here in Bendigo that loves teasing my cat through the window, which is quite hilarious because it's so cocky it knows that my cat can't actually get to it, so it will actually walk along the branch when it knows my cat is there and basically tease it through the window. So they're actually quite amusing little birds.
We are at
Undisclosed.
Beachcomber, as you can see, right next to the beach.
Does anyone else think that's a really weird way of putting it? That a tram weighs as much as 30 rhinos, but the sign is a rhino on a skateboard. Very creative way of describing it.
It is so very Australian, really. Blunt, straight to the point. Something I discovered today from watching a video about Melbourne trams is that the Melbourne tram system is actually the biggest tram system in the world. That's pretty impressive.
Today we've decided that we keep walking past the butchers, so we are going to go to the butchers, get a pie.
Now, I did watch this entire video and I have advised them to go to Coles or Woolies and get themselves a 2-pack of national pies to try, because getting pies from the butchers, yeah, it's a bit hit and miss. You're not necessarily gonna get what you really want, I think. You know, you want good pies, butchers, yeah, great for just buying your meat for pies, but, you know, bakeries or the freezer section at Aldi, Coles or Woolies.
Which pie, we don't know. How much said pie will cost, we don't know. We were going to be on a budget about the pie, but now we've decided we're going to go in there and get the pie. Because otherwise, they'll think that we're weird because we're going to the butchers and then bailed and get the pie. We're going to go to Woolworths. Oh, is it Woolworths? Is it, yeah, we're going to go to Woolies.
These guys have been here barely any time at all, but they're already learning the local lingo. Yes, we call it Woolies. We don't ever really call it Woolworths. So, 10 out of 10 for that.
Get us some chips.
Yeah, please settle this debate for me, because I said to Ed, what do you want with your pie? He was like, oh, salad, coleslaw, and I was like,
You get coleslaw with a pie?
like, do you not want gravy, like veg?
Not fussed about gravy, I'll be honest. But we're going to get some bisto because Trudy wants bisto, maybe. And then
If
we're going
they sell that here.
we're going to commit to a pie. I would like a blue cheese pie, but Trudy doesn't like. Well, you know the story with Trudy and eating at this point.
Now, I have to say, this whole conversation confused me a little, because I thought, don't they have pies in the UK? Like, surely we didn't invent the pie. But there seems to be a bit of confusion here. For me, if I'm having a pie, I just have a pie. I don't have it with salad or chips or anything. Although I guess, you know, if you want a decent meal, I guess chips do kind of go with it. I will confess, and this is just one of those odd things that I do, this is certainly not indicative of how you eat pies in Australia for anyone who's not Australian who's watching this, but when I get a national pie, I love to pop the top off, squeeze tomato sauce into the meat, and I actually get cheese twisties, and I stir the sauce through the meat, and I scoop the meat out with cheese twisties. Then when it's mostly empty, I put in a bunch of twisties into the mostly empty pie pastry bit and have a twisty pie. That's just some weird thing that I started doing as a teenager, and it's just something I still do. I have no idea. Feel free to make fun of me in the comments section down below because I know it is a slightly odd thing to do.
So we did the lunch purchasing. We got pies from the butchers, jalapeno and brisket, and coleslaw. Trudy.
I caved. To be fair, I do really fancy some coleslaw, so but we're gonna make our own.
Yeah, we bought the coleslaw mix. We're gonna have mayonnaise
Chips.
and chips. We've got rosemary and salted chips.
So I'm guessing it was kind of like a deli cross butcher type thing. Jalapeno and brisket pies, I don't think I would actually enjoy that at all. If I'm going to buy a pie, I'm going to buy a national pie, or if I can find a good quality curried scallop pie, they're my two choices. I think we need to educate these guys a little bit as to what is Australian food and how to eat it.
One thing that we're finding is a problem in Australia is cordial. It's shocking here. Anyone watching is Australia wants to recommend a brand, please do, because the ones we've tried so far are terrible, and Ribena is like $8 a bottle.
I've had that Diet Right cordial, and you know, it is cheap. That's about all you can say about it, really. I love Bickford's. If you've not had it, it comes in a glass bottle, and their lemon barley cordial tastes like the good old-fashioned cordial that your aunt would make for you at home. So delish. But, you know, there's always coddies because this is Australia, so when you think cordial, you think coddies.
Wow, look at those pies. They're huge, like the size of my hand. This is Ed's coleslaw. He made it himself.
This is a jalapeno and brisket pie, if we hadn't already mentioned. I'll eat it in about 10 minutes because it will be as hot as the gates of hell.
Okay, rookie mistake, or maybe it's just a British thing, eating your pie with a knife and fork. I always just pick it up and eat it. And yeah, I wouldn't go to all the fanciness of making slot coleslaw and stuff to go with it. Pies are pretty good as a meal on their own.
We've had to put the camera back on because basically it was anticlimactic, Trudy reckons.
No, right, hear me out. It was nice, but like I said earlier in my previous clips, to me, a pie is like gravy, mashed potato, nice veg. That filling was barbecue. It's like a barbecue pizza base. The idea sounds nice, but when you have it, you're like, should have gone for tomato.
You definitely have barbecue pizza base. But the point being is, there was only one pie to pick from. It was brisket and jalapeno. That's what we went with.
Sounds like they would enjoy a good old-fashioned cottage pie. I don't know if there are any good bakeries in the Melbourne area that sell cottage pies, but if you do know of somewhere, leave a comment below. I'm not a fan of them really, but I'm pretty certain that if you went to Woolies or Aldi or Coles, that you could also find a fairly good brand of pie that was a cottage pie. But still, for me, I always go back to the national pies.
It was at the butcher's mercy.
No, it was...
Trudy's talking it up like she enjoyed it, but she gave me half her pie.
No, look, I'm eating it all.
And she's hiding from you all that she gave me half the pie. It was quite a sweet crust. We discussed this because
Buttery
crust.
Buttery crust.
If anyone's got any pie recommendations for the Melbourne area, please drop them in the comments.
So hopefully I've shown you enough here to at least give you a taste of what their channel is about, and maybe inspire a few people to jump over and watch some of their content. I think it is quite a refreshing vlog. I like that for a change these people have actually moved to Melbourne as opposed to the many people who go to Sydney or the Gold Coast. So it'll be interesting to see if this is where they stay or if they do head for warmer areas. Although that said, we're heading into, well, soon to be heading into summer, so they're going to see some of the nicer weather that you get in Melbourne. But yeah, I quite enjoy their vlog. It's just a really relaxed vlog, and there's just these little discoveries, like I've shown you, through their day of them basically embracing life in Melbourne and having a go. Trudy was talking about she went to a social event just to meet some people from the area, and she was saying, you've got to put yourself out there if you want to make friends. So it sounds like they're really jumping in and really trying to engage with Australia and really immerse themselves in Melbourne culture. So I wish them well, and I'll be watching their channel to watch it grow and see how they go in terms of adjusting to life in Australia. So thanks for watching. If you're new, please subscribe to my channel. Also, hit the like and leave a comment below. Are there some things here that you would suggest for these guys in terms of experiences they should be doing in Melbourne area, or recommendations of really good places to get pies in Melbourne? Because to be honest, if I go to Melbourne, I tend to, there's just so much multinational cuisine down there that, straight to the food mall and looking for like Korean, Japanese, whatever kind of foods. So I've never actually gone looking for pies in Melbourne. But anyway, that's a wrap. Come back for more. I'll see you in the next one.